Hi, I'm Debora Schultz, and on this video I wanted to talk about some additional information about Dr. Kempner rice diet. I got a comment on my last video, and she says, Dr. Kempner used table sugar to keep the calories up in patients without adding extra protein. You were correct that this was not used for weight loss, and then she says thank you for this video. I wanted to clear in any confusions you might have about the rice diet, because there's a big difference between the diet for patients that did have chronic conditions like kidney failure, diabetes, heart problems and stuff, and the ones that went there for weight loss. The initial diet for both of them did not include sugar, and the sugar, as this lady said, was added to increase calories without adding protein, because some of these people that had those diseases, they could not consume a higher protein intake. So they needed to increase the calories for some reason, because maybe they lost too much weight and they needed more calories, or because they couldn't handle a huge amount of protein that might have in the rice or the fruit. So for some reason they would have to increase their calories. So that would be one reason why the sugar was added to the diet, but originally no, sugar was not used. So thank you for this comment. I think that was very important, and that's why I said originally that I was just focusing on the weight loss, but I think it's important to know the different protocol was used for treating different patients and different conditions. In that, I think by reading all his papers and his books and everything else that I got information from, I think calories is very valid when it comes to weight loss. I see a lot of people saying the Dr. Kempner was a diet that you could eat unlimited amount of sugar and rice and fruit, which it was not the case. The amount of food they could eat was very limited, and it was different for everybody. The patients will go to these right houses or to the clinic 3 times a day for meals, so it was only 3 meals, and they would do the morning check-ins, they do all the labs and everything they have to do there, have their meal, and then leave and do your own thing at your own house or whatever they were living. That was not up to them to provide housing. We had limited amount of inpatient in the hospital because they didn't have enough room, so you had to provide your own housing and stuff. So people for weight loss were eating lower calories, while people that had other problems were eating up to maybe 2,000 calories or higher if they needed to. The thing I wanted to say is why Dr. Kempner chose the rice instead of any other grains or whatever he could have used for a higher carb intake is because, first, rice, especially white rice, is very low in fat. He considered rice as having a complete amino acid profile, so he believed that you don't need to consume huge amounts of protein to keep muscle mass as soon as you are consuming all the amino acids that your body needs. So that's why he considered the rice, and I think that's very interesting. So if you're concerning about muscle loss and stuff, I think according to his papers, rice has a complete amino acid profile. So you don't have to be consuming hundreds of grams of protein to keep your muscle mass, and he wanted to keep the protein low though for the patients that needed to have this protocol for chronic conditions and stuff. So see, there's a lot of confusion out there, and I think I was confused. I was one of these people that was confused about what really the Dr. Kempner's message was. So I started studying and reading about it with information that were valid, not just people talking and saying what they think the diet was. And that's when I got interested, that's why I got involved, and that's how I got very passionate about this way of feeding and all the things that he's done for people just to help them to lose weight, help them get healthier. And I think his diet is amazing. And it's not just about eating rice and fruit forever, it's all the lifestyle, the reintroduction of other foods to your diet slowly so you don't lose your progression. I think it's very important. You're not going to be eating that forever, so you have to be adding foods back into a diet and go back into a more balanced way of eating. On the other book written later on, not by him, but for other people, where the rice diet was changed, I think that was a great for a nowadays kind of environment where people are just trying to lose weight. That's more sustainable long term. I think his approach was very strict. He did not allow any salt, any seasonings, or any condiments, nothing. He wanted the diet to be boring. and some people had problems sticking to this diet, and he would get a little aggressive with some people that did not follow his recommendations, and there are some people that talk about this as well, but I think you have to see his side. He dedicated his whole life to help people, and then when you see that you're not following instructions, it can be very frustrating. So he probably got a little aggressive with some people, and it is a hard diet to follow, and it's not recommended to do that at home. You have to be supervised to follow his original protocols. I don't think it's safe to do at home by yourself, unless you want to do it for a day to try it on, but not forever. I think the really low amount of sodium can be dangerous if it's done for too long. I don't think it's necessary to do the zero condiments kind of things. I think it's good maybe for a few days, so you reset your palate, as I said on the other videos. I think that's important. And then you have the ability to go back and get in tune with your body own needs, with your hunger, the amount of sugar and salt that you need. I think it's very good. I think it helped me a lot to get in tune with my body and follow my intuition, and so I'm forever grateful for his work, and I think his protocols were great, they were amazing, and he left a legacy of amazing things. So that's, I think, the additional information that I wanted to give it. So different people need different approaches, different amount of calories, different amount of everything. So you cannot say that everybody needs a certain amount of calories, because that's not true. A person can be 70-year-old, don't exercise and weigh 100 pounds, and while another person that's 200 pounds, 20 years old and athletic, they cannot recommend the same amount of calories for everybody. And I think he was correct about treating people differently. Different amount of calories, different amount of nutrition, different amount of sugar if needed to. So it's very responsible to say that everybody needs to eat the same amount of calories. If I'm missing something, I'll make an additional video. If you have any questions, leave it down below. If you are interested in talking to me, if you want to reach out to me, feel free. I'm on Instagram. I'll leave everything down below. You can send me a message there, you can send me a message here, you can send me an email, whatever you feel like. If you have any questions, I'll be more happy to help. I'm very passionate about this, and I truly want to help people to achieve their goal on their unique way. And I think that's how it was for me. I don't think you all fit in a little box where everything works for everybody. So I think we are all unique, and you all need different approaches. But I think the rice diet, it is very flexible, and it can work for the majority of people. Alright, that's it for this video, and I'll see you on the next one.